Yeah, it's here for you. Hopefully, radio no asugusu with you know. I said you could see that be a no financial peace education. Ya di bremo said ye etienne na enenya me ya dom osade ye nua Patrik na na befi acheyen. Ne de no ayesronkunti bomodian de fro nua bi say on join ye no ni ye nsua de sabre ya yedru ye tax season. Em say April pepepe na etwem enti sabre ya wo say oye nana atono bo asese adusua oni ye no enioma wo so uhu ansana wa file tax the things you need to know and I said you also uhu what you need to know before filing your tax eno na oni ye bedi ho enkomo nti baabi a obi atam kuchu na tweben wo fidie no na ne wa be fili treben na wo se baabi a wo sika no kono akoni ye nti me nche ho me kofa nana na odi yadusua no abrain na afi yes so yetimi atiki advantage na namba short me nka
but me train a friend said Danny.
okay
Danny
okay
Maso.
onya mai oba pe me peke no nti okay
My friend be
yo but you I mean try me homra ne a friend
just trust in the Lord, he'll do it for you. Just as he's done before, he'll do it again. Only believe, he'll do it for you. Our God is a faithful God, he'll do it again. Brother Henry, let's
trust in the Lord, he'll do it for you. Just as he's done before, he'll do it again. Only believe, he'll do it for you. Our God is a faithful God, he'll do it again. Only believe, only believe. All things are possible. Only believe, only believe. All things are possible.
only believe. Hey, he will heal your sickness. Just believe and trust in the Lord. Only believe. He is a faithful God. Only believe. All things are possible. Only believe. Only believe. He is a faithful God.
or say only believe
Hallelujah. 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 Mama Yesu say, hey, Mama Yesu say, Mama Yesu say, Oya Sadarina, hey, Dikude Mama, hallelujah, hallelujah, hey, hallelujah, 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 yeah.
what's your mo yesu or say wadin kunima mai said me kan say bomodian ne fra unua bi say o mekan ye ho ye mu bebre ya file tax na ye husuye eti baabi a ya de fefa ne aboka ne nsem bebre ye nya kwan steady ye ntie ho asem say de wo se ye no ene nana ene yonko take time won be cheche ye mu ekwan a ye befa so nioma wo se ye hu ansa ne ya file tax no nkase we de bia ho na me de ko se ya ne ye no e wo se hu atamize nioma no say de si ye no the kwan be na wo se ofa so are you getting the right person bomodian na also tie bi na nye nshira ma One ankasa so you're very good on that. Into here helper obetimi aboa no wetimi prepare tax no. There be me say a site I mean pekrane IRS for sites. We am me den kra me go check yo. Because me best me deal with them. Nti bomodi ne mu obi nkyerɛkyerɛ mu ne hu ne sɛ deɛ wɔsɛ wɔyɛ no. Wa na opɛ sɛ wɔyɛ fine. So wa utimi nye so ama expert ne embo out. Come on. Eti no ho nkɔmmɔ ne yɛbɛdi. Ti bomodi ande frɛ unu bi sɛ wɔn join your Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Baby a ye will be on so betimi etie bi.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. I feel everybody. One mama told me, yeah. I feel everybody. One mama told me, yeah. And he wanted more. I soon be wanting more. Everything for phobia, share my no. I didn't share my fluma. Everything for phobia, share my no. I didn't share my fluma. I feel a man who everything young way. Mama, tell me, I feel a man who everything. Mama, tell me, I need you more. I still need more. Everything for phobia, share my no. I didn't share my fluma. Everything for phobia, share my no. I didn't share my fluma.
That's my man. That's good.
And you know how to do it. I don't know. I see you now.
Who's your friend? As a banana video in them by and our meeting home. One of them clear no Mr. Obed in Swaba.
Obed, I know what's it just a no bear backup who on the oil background. Tim say,
hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah,
Patrick, the friend is saying, can you saw that's over login?
I think, man, what's the second one?
Maybe I had to get on Skype and call you and call it.
Call the number.
I had to get on Skype and call open your live video.
William, for Skype, not
Patrick, for the material, I'm on.
We see for one time could you my few minutes you get things ready. Na ye the additional abremo. Intimate one time could you my
Come on.
Obed. Dani waba so me so.
Catch any video in them my
A video ne nyama. Video.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, I feel everybody. One mama told me, yeah. I feel
and as what any video no one but be a block a camera and anything.
Em se bibi ablo kama.
I need you wanting more.
Very good.
Okay. Ene me ende ko.
Everything you phobia share mano.
Alright. Right.
Yeah, obusia for say na
Oba
me kan no.
yo
Nyame adom. Yeah, you ready. Yeah, crowd kra. Nti mejama nana say the brand do no na what take you over am I?
You're here for your boy Patrik Barfi. Hope for life reading financial peace education. In the name say your tax season taxes in Sudra, and I will say it me a tax. When you say tax, it be a very delicate, very complicated. Now see in your CPAs, accountants, now omit me a boy, now yet me a break BBA down. You near Danny Waha or boy, or no a CP obit me a boy, and now you near Ubeso accountant. Miss Moham a CFP, a bit try na yabuam. It is an image amount, and Abema Ubeda started now. 1 minute. Mon train na mun stay and then I will see a taxes na see I will see who send your name city effort taxes na near no kwa the other year you can say I'm say last year na than you were churches have a church say the following year near beside it you know and this year the no kwa say year 2025 mu a quite be fast so a bit me and maximize your taxes a quite be fast so you will be broad my taxes no crown into any yeah, it's so crowd so and so no be ntua cry and so we are according to how so pay mama 10,000 na me famko eti ene be hwese ne akasa asem no nyina na e de niama atutu yi dan we ready ama menya we na ye nya we eti mo fa nche kakra ene ya late kakra ba mo fa nche mini ama enum kakra na dan fa nye
And I already wait to take you over.
So bet me a share screen for you mean so be able to share
Will be
screen,
able
right?
to me, yeah.
Okay, all right. We already have to
I'm talking on the computer, so I'm using my phone, but you know your computer, so.
Dani so kasa yenti.
Okay, that's my.
O kasa Dani kasa yenti.
This is checking the sound no.
I check your sound o kasa yenti.
feel me everybody. One mama kuma tell me yeah. I feel me everybody. One mama kuma tell me yeah. Any G one more.
And then they tell me before you.
Everything you for ya share manu. Often if I share my food. Everything you for ya share manu. Often if I share my food. I feel a never everything young way. Mama kuma tell me. I feel a never everything. Mama kuma tell
Try
me.
some melody.
Any G1 Asumjiwonimo Eradicting Fufrobia Shemano Altini Bashema Fuma Eradicting Fufrobia Shemano Altini Bashema Fuma And you know how to be a mouth. Now don't know I see you now. Everything you for Probia Shemano Why am I beside Jenina Ramane?
After Daniel drop you.
Everything you for Probia
And say
Shemano
volume.
What's up, Freddie?
Everything you for Probia Shemano
Say and two cast out.
Danny, you want me to start with?
And okay, starting now on your
See, they are share my screen, you know.
Can you hear me now?
Share.
Yeah, I
Yes.
can hear you now.
Awesome.
Uh-huh.
I apologize for the technical hitch. All right, let me just run through my screen real quick. 1 minute.
Danny, is it the same screen that we presented?
Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. So sorry. Let me just run through this real quick. Let me start with run through what we're gonna do. So I think because of time, we will do this real quick. I am doing this with a brother of mine who, in the person of brother Obed, is a distinguished accountant. And my apologies for the technical hitch. I realized that I was trying to fix my microphone, and so I apologize. But
Danny,
basically,
you say a you by trying to
Mpacho, basically outline no be you better try say you better understanding uh filing our taxes, and the form I use to file our tax is called form 1040. So you better try say you better understanding what 1040 is all about. And as far as filing with 1040, you better try say you better understand we would understand what is filing status. We also understand what it means to say when we talk about taxable income, tax bracket, tax deduction versus tax credit, standard versus itemized deduction. We also look at strategies for to reduce our tax burden. Meaning, say, we want to be able to reduce our tax burden. So that's also one of the things I can want some. Some tools and resources. There are information, or there's a lot of information out there. Say, by yourself, I'll bet you, and we will touch on some of them. Now, we will also talk about business tax planning and some IRS red flags if there is time. I'll run through this real quick. Some of the slides I will be sharing for my brother to also run through them. Quick information before I ever start,
there are key deadlines I just want to touch on. First of all, we know say the tax deadline for every one of us to file our tax is by the 15th of April. Okay, so I want to mean file it by 15th of April now. You can have an extension. By extension, it said IRS in my time obetimi a file with tax. But it doesn't mean say by 15th of April now. You should have paid that Kana Odino by 15th of April. The extension is only for you to file. It is a Odika by 15th of April. Now, say Uditas Kana Unchiaya. What is going to happen is that IRS best start to say omu calculating interest on the amount that you will owing. So Mpacho, you're taking note about that. Okay, and there is also a penalty on that. Failure to file, say one failure, there is a penalty. To start with, there is a penalty of 5%, okay, of the amount that you owe. And it's going to be like that for each month, okay? And it can be from 5% to 25%. And the other deadlines, no, I don't want to touch on that. If you have a business, failure, you have a deadline by March 15. So file S corp nasa business there 1065 partnership. I will say file utasa by April March 15. No, I will say file. So I just want to get these deadlines out of the way. There are other ones that I don't think it will apply to most of us. The kind individual tasks are. Individual tasks is what mainly we'll be talking about, and that's what most of us, I believe, will be applicable to us. Tasks, the amount, say majority of us, here we work, and say ube say usually say company now we only jumano they withholding tax and now say ebia we jumana yetuawo busumi bia ebia every 2 weeks yetuawo $1,000 ubedia to mu say and $1,000 no na de bia ye de mawo, right? Most of the times most companies no your moye ni say so mbetuawo car ombe ti tax free mu tax no mu ti free mu based on form bia who complete year time I will start here Juma or at the end of every year or periodically. So form now filing no omushres no now the titi tax maybe the IRS. Okay, so form no dini from W4. Okay, so be our year Juma no the tax kakra. Yeah, what they do they say you sa tax na. Na say I finish to say na ye file your tax. No much check he say sika na onya 50,000 yetimi adi dati tax so mati will more than necessary no more refund bi amount se me omuti ye no so mo hwe eduma na wo ye nyina bia wo ye 3 jobs ana bibi one job utia tax back bi untia ana bibi no mu kambo mu nyina no mo hu se mami we papa we brother we odika, okay, because bia yanti no tax no up to the level of income was say anka yeti no the antino na no the odika but some more than enough necessary no must send will refund. So that is something that we have to know about. That's all about that. Okay, and it's not only income tax. Say be our investment be and our interest on any saving be and our rental property be yet meet tax to every month. Now let's talk about employers, like I said, they withhold tax, okay, and now based on that, then you file your tax. But ABR, when you say some of us we work for companies here, omuntie tax. So those companies they are required say what we call 1099 forms. Okay, so when you more than 600 from them form now a state how much for the entire year. Sometimes I've seen situations where some people, because of the job they did na ABR, the address now mudima company na bibi no address no correct. It's a company crap say almost send you 1099 omunsan kom and idea to every baby no first no omuti apartment bi mu to every apartment no mo nti say statement in the bro man na call different address. So almost no more feel say, oh well, when you're under the table 1099 minya it's not a big deal. So behind him Inti eno no so omu fale omu tax a omu form they don't give that to their tax person. And I be omu ankasa omu yeso a no mo ye free mo because say omu nya bibia and say bia obi anim IRS doesn't know. And that is one dangerous area we have to be careful about. Sometimes we are with a company, you may not have received 1099 form now, but we'll file with tax, making sure say one kasa you make if you need that statement. Obet me from no more and now amount of body mawa. It's nice say obey disclose. And yes, Anna, na say if you file with the IRS, yet you are $1,000. But we no one fan can. Yes, Anna. Na ebia ufali a wonya issue initially, but after a while obehuana ya send you letter. IRS abreu letter say ebia one understate your income. So I just want us to take note of that. And then also one quick one too, it's not on this, but we have a third-party settlement. To say BB to say PayPal, BB to say Cash App and all that, recently there has been a little changes kakra say uye juma wo uye juma na yetua through that source. So unya more than 5,000 and was say almost send you sa statement send you bear ubetimi disclose. First no na omu send statement via. But right now, talks are being conducted. Say, or messenger was only more than 5,000. Into me pouch say, oh, nya be free hustle. Making sure say you would also include that in your tax filing. What would happen over time? They say it was at Congress. Over time, they want to reduce the amount to 600. Send you buy only 600 free any platform. Wow, side business be yeah. Na say sikano ye the Cash App, PayPal, and all those things are now on one send statement. Say they are trying to close the loopholes. So I would urge us say if you know other sources are on your income, just do the right thing. Just include that and then file your tax. Say the other thing I want us to know say juma employer no baby juma na tax. Normally no at the end of the year W2. They are required say by the 31st of January W2. So by now most people have received their W2s. If you haven't received it, you have every right to check your some people they do online, so you can check your statement online or you can check with HR. They will gladly send it to you. And then Maka 1099 forms no who wants them da. Now, when we talk about taxable income, say who file taxa. Ubetimi bisa who say if I am filing tax, a DNA was a in fan count. A bibiana IRS taxi and if you are confused and you don't know what IRS taxes or not, I just want you to know, say, so your mistake is better to err on the side of thinking, say, omu charge tax on BBA because generally they tax on everything. Ukoye chacha na unya sikakra IRS per se almost omu DBA influence them. Okay, it is a student loan debt forgiveness and all that. Cancel that. Sasikano, you have to include that. Who profit be or stock be na se unto sa stock na se again and also say the count. Proceeds from the sale of real estate and things like unemployment compensation. Some of us yejisika from the state say juma. Normally, all this you have to consider including or disclosing that as you file your taxes. One area last 2 years I noticed a lot of people were missing is when they started using these digital currencies. We are investing in Bitcoin and all that. Yes, virtual currencies and all that. And when there are gains or sale of some of the investments now, you have to disclose all that. What does not count as taxable income? Brother, Mami next slide, no, not my mom and brother. So I go through from the filing statuses, but let me go through this. What doesn't count as taxable income? So we can say what doesn't count as taxable income. What are some of the sikabia unya ana yes, sika unya IRS or like they don't charge you tax. Number one is unya accident, na unya personal injury rebate bia na sikabia. Normally you don't pay tax on that. Okay, cash rebate, it's a cash rewards, discover rewards, and all that, you don't pay tax on that. Child support. When I was receiving child support, when I will receive child support, you don't pay tax. Nipa na ono ma child support, ono ontimi nti mfiri ni sika mu, I say on your tax, and can the sika ni nyina on your tax. But when I will receive your tax. Bibi ti say alimony, only include jaina mo make property and bibi na oche o ma wo sika bia untia hwe, you are not expected. I mean, nyama no edoso. Bibi ti say unya scholarship. Uko school na say unya scholarship. Na say no mami ka bibi like mfa unkakra. Say scholarship na unya has to do with to say be my scholarship ni say fatia your room and board. And now bibi say fatia your tuition. Sa tax na sikana unya no say one you say for the right purposes now ultimately due tax one. So you have to make sure say you are using the reason for receiving that scholarship, you're using it appropriately. Okay, next slide. Basically, United States taxes, you can't how the tax system is progressive. Okay, you can't progressive. What does it mean? Progressive tax, no say yeah, me make it $5,000 a year. Now say my brother Yaw Barfi or make it 20,000 a year. Now me make it 5,000 now. Me now me make it 5,000. But you have taxes less than on Noah or make it more money, because the more you make, the more you pay. Okay, until obi the lowest as far as the tax brackets are concerned. Lowest waiting me 8 year percentage waiting 8 year is 10%. Until 10%. Omo so omo making so much money. Obi to say Elon Musk, wait here on his personal filing. Or bet me falling in the category of 37%. So you bet me charge 37% of your taxable income. Now, let me state this. So Indiana will have I mean your presentation be but some states, to say Virginia, your tax system no progressive. And this is to say federal now. But states be tax rate is flat. It doesn't matter how much you make. Say 5%, 5% more beer. So and you're progressive. Until rich man you have 5%. You only be to 5%. But yeah, Virginia state in the NTSA progressive. So making more, you pay more taxes. From 1040 no makan one sem and no ye former ye used to file our taxes. Okay, for individual tax filing. Remember Brother Obel, so I ran it through this side real quick, Amaya. Brother Obel, over to you here.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Brother Danny. That was very informative. So I'm going to run through a couple of the slides. And the first one is filing status. So Chrome Hano, file taxes. The most important thing, especially file individual tax return. And I'm saying, Brother Danny Kahwasem, the form of the filing year 1040. The most important thing to determine how much taxes you pay is your filing status. And the IRS, I check status new. Send a BR over selected or file under will determine how much taxes you pay. So we are singular. You file with a filing status of single. That is if you are unmarried and you are single. While wearing you can either file as joint with your spouse. And also file taxes are boom. And actually that is preferred by the IRS. And I say we file it separately. Ukunu filing it separately. Now also we file it separately. And there's another filing status almost head of household. And is to help single people who have a qualifying child. And before I will be file as head of household, no, there are a few where I also meet. One, you need a qualifying child. That means akola utuya more than half of akola ne upkeep. Two, I was akola ne utna for more than half of the year. And at three, you have to pay more than half of the household expenses. If you meet these criteria, you can file as head of household. Now, the difference between head of household and single, no, head of household tax bracket, no, which we will show in the subsequent slides, no, a little bit larger than single. It gives you a little relief, a binary amount, a little relief because you have all those responsibilities. And I will qualifying surviving spouse. I know you're obia within the year I filed taxes, no, and I said the year before. IRS allow my file as married filing jointly, right? Instead of filing separately, you know, and I single, no. So within the tax year, and I said the year before, IRS allow my file jointly. So these are the 4 filings status. Ebiani, you know, benefits at the back, and ebiani the disadvantage, especially so who worry now filing separately. There is, or there are a lot of disadvantages because IRS person almost a man refrain from filing separately whilst you are married. You can go to the next slide. Okay, so we file taxes. We have what we call a deduction. A deduction. And the tax deduction, you know, say me chemua, send your brother Danika, you know. Ta finish one. So we are juma, we are 9 to 5 a juma. O company to taxes o mema W2. Say sika say na unya ye. Say ni etema federal government. Say ni etema state. Say ne be ya file taxes so what you are abroso they will give you back the what you are abroso no. Say the what you are so and so on. Then you pay up. Tax deduction, no. What the tax deduction means, they say, usika na unya for the year, no. Aban no allow ma utiti sika bi free mu. And sana wabenya taxable income. Ombe assess ebe calculate tax na also utua kasa no. So. Tax deduction, no. Aban ma obia standard deduction na ubetumi atie free usika. No. Say whether you are filing single, married, filing jointly, head of household, you will seek a abanye chatu based on your filing status, no, ubetimi atie free. And no tax deduction. But say share now who say tikana abanye se maintain free me sika mu no eswa. Now who expenses are more than says kana abanye se maintain free me sika mu na. Na end there why itemize actual abanye say no expenses way me sha a bro there o allow me say maintain film no nti meti eno mo rather nti eno ne itemized deduction and we'll see the differences in the next slide. Nti so hwe that deduction is basically what are you allowed to deduct from your gross income before you get to your taxable income where a tax liability can be assessed on. That is what a tax deduction is. Now, you better share difference between a tax deduction and a tax credit. Into which tax deduction now, your personal exemption before I sign a tax act nearby, your personal exemption, right? But Trump first term no, or sign a personal exemption if you have, because your personal exemption and standard deduction. But your personal exemption if you have, no, yeah, standard deduction to cover the personal exemption now if you want no. And I've talked about itemized deduction already. So right now we have standard deduction and itemized deduction. standard deduction wo homo bia say IRS allow ebia single filers 14,200 IRS allow say it's 14,200 ni free with gross income na de ebeka no na ya calculate taxes wo so na say taxes na utu during the year ni so a no wetu ya de aka na kan say those nso a na de aka no de abro as refund but send ya meka no so hwe na sa Ghana IRS ti free o gross income ni so a then the why itemize no wa chọ say ebia no mortgage interest say me donate say me wo expenses ebia medical expenses say me kan ni nyina bomu a say standard deduction na ma me nti bese me tie no mu but I will caution say before answer na obeti bibia obe itemize no what bibia no make sure say you have documents to support that because IRS or the two they want to see those documents that can support why you are itemizing your expenses and deducting it instead of the standard deduction. Usually, so far standard deduction, they are, I know they are almost so your returns might not even be flagged for audits. But mostly when you itemize, it will be flagged because you are telling the IRS that your expenses are more than 14 the standard deduction, and you want to take that instead of the standard deduction. Actually, a bit so Oshaha standard deduction table no na no, right? And for single filers no IRS no more 14,600 to deduct from your gross income. And sana ya charge tax or the ebeka so. So you're married now we file it separately. It's the same amount as the single filers. You're married now file it jointly. Say amount in here double 29,200. Right? A double from single name filing separately, you know. And as any American, file as head of household, and also amount here 21,900 because they want to give you a little tax break when you are filing as head of household, just to relieve you from the responsibilities that you have. And IRS allow to deduct all these amounts based on your filing status. But now, you know, you have more than what they are giving you now, then you itemize and deduct that. And the next slide here, I train, the tax system in the US, the federal tax system in the US is progressive. The more I will the more I also would hear. Say, senior brother Danika, say, me make it 20,000, no, be making 100,000. We are not expected to pay the same rate on our taxes because who make it more, the percentage increases. Inti Hanum no share for single filers, no, so who make it 0 to 11,600 or tax rate 10%, right? So who make it from 11,600 to 47,150 on charge 12% of that amount. And yet total 47,000 in between 11,600 to 47,150. In no, they will assess 12% on that amount. And then if you make more than 47,000, from 47,151 to 100,000, they are charging 22% on that amount. And our next bracket, they will make it 100,000 from 100,000 to 191,000. So amount, no, the difference, number charge 24% on that amount. And our next one, next one at 32%, no, so we make it 191,000 to 243,000. That amount, you know, on charge 32% or so. And then you go to 35%. If you make 243,000 to 609,000, on charge 35% on that amount, the difference. And anything you make over 609,000, they will calculate or they will charge a tax of 37% on it. And it's all share joint now. Mostly the joint is twice the amount of the single brackets, no. until say drew the large tax bracket, then your joints now no year fileable one. Anything above 731,201, charge 37% on that amount. And a head of household in so the own bracket. Obon's a head of household no bracket, chain single bracket, right? Head of household, you need to make 0 to 16,550 before to be charged 10%, and then 16,000 from 16,551 to 63,100. May assess 12% tax also, and then from 63,101 to 100,500. May assess 22% tax also, and then the next tax bracket, 100,000 to 191,000, normal charge 24%. Then 32%, 191 to 243,000. That difference on the charge 32% or so. Then you go all the way down, and then if you're head of household, if you make more than 578,108, they will charge 37% on any amount that you make over that. You can go to the next slide. Okay. So Osha tax bracket, my example, right? Nyansafo's filing status is married. Nyansafo's adjusted gross income is 70,000. Or on an area fileable community, almost fat standard deduction, which is 29,200. And to show amortizable income is 40,800, right? Now, out of 40,800, the first 11,600 will be taxed at 10%. But then the next bracket, send you a share from 11,661 to 40-something thousand, will be charged at 12%. Into the remaining 29,000, tax was 12%. Into total tax also 4,664. Sana tax in the that's how they calculate the tax. So at any bracket, the difference in the bracket is what you get taxed on. Enti tax are also mutia for income making of 70,000 or 4,664. But during the year, tika taxes paycheck 6,000. And to say sika no mati is more than what they actually have to pay based on their tax filing status, and then the standard deduction and the actual tax that they have to pay. In Tihanom, IRS ever refund you about 13,336. So, and it says way in a IRS be refunded akoma nyansafu or no and an area. So that's how the tax refund is calculated. Senka omoye nyansafu taxes no na yefan say omo calculated tax was 7,000. Then it means say omo deka. That means omo employer and omo enough taxes to cover their tax liability for the year. It's here no. I was omo to IRS 1,000. But someone who send ya we it here. And this omo calculating tax.
We dey make sure no kakra ha. And then I'm quantum. I'm say point now. More hitting a very very key. I'm say we yeah for questions kakra next time be in your timer.
That's right.
Okay. Brother Mike.
No.
Minister questions you be brief.
Information is good, but now say to me starting 20 time I take here.
Also be
yeah.
And my questions them run after.
Okay. Say possible next week you bet me I part 2. I think say it be in your back. It depends. Yeah. Then I
next week you bet part 2 program be na.
And I don't make us say be very possible you bet me at us. Yeah.
No problem.
Yo, Nana, it does. It's here for another for million or explaining. Wow, bit my friend the question number near 703-565-2360. 703-565-2360. wabɛtumi afrɛ ɔmu nyinaa wɔ so na wabisa ɔmo menia Naomi o baabi a obi akyia Sam ɛna Veronica mu nyinaa nso yɛkyia mo nana deɛ menya wɔ chat nim ni the first one ɛm sɛ brother Danny ɛka biribi about scholarship tax na obi bisa sɛ scholarship nso so yɛtua tax wɔ ho when you a scholarship, that's when you know to best explain man how tax affect scholarship.
That's a very good question. But your scholarship no under normal circumstances no. Anke was here with your tax only. Maybe I am out tax scholarship for usually scholarship as given for a particular purpose. Sikano ye di mawa for tuition. Say fetua with school fees. Ghana your friend with school fees. Na sikano ye di amawo say fact ebi mu wo ha munya sa sikano for school fees na. No mo ankasa use sikano. Ye di show mu sem say faculty school fees a. No wa use akoto laptop. Na nye laptop nti na ye di sa sikano ma wo. Ebi usu wo ha ebia school no oni baby obeda. Nti na wo di akoye room and board, na wo di akoye rent dan. Ebi musu wo ha sa scholarship na ye di amasa scholarship no. No omo di akotwa omo nu. Nti sa sika no ye di ma wo na say for tuition. Na wo fa nya. And no na you don't or you did not say we failing to use the money for the designated purpose nti. Who for later sa aban no be geo tax one. Nti I hope say as a trainer, I mean it's better now. That's right.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's it. The next question about marriage. I say marrying so mostly the omo taxes no e catch omo minimum how me can say okay so we can English omo file omo worry ba omo file separate. What is the disadvantage? O can say no I'm saying Mr. Obed I can say my filing separate and or disadvantage. They want to know what kind of disadvantage because most people, even though they are married, by advice almost say filing separate to make more money.
Yeah, that's a good question. So filing status, is very circumstantial, right? Mostly, so file separator. There are a lot of credits for what unya, but so call tax advisor or no advisor say file no file separator. It means that mummy and no make it sikapa. If you make too much money, then most of the credits doesn't even matter to you, right? And he said normally say more advisor say mo file separator. It means that munya no make it sikapa and I'm file bomo. It won't give you the maximum your friend saying refund or the maximum tax benefits. Usually that's what happens. But say ebia nipa baku make iskapa na baku share that make iska. The best filing status will be married filing jointly because the tax bracket becomes larger for both of you when one makes a lot of money and the other doesn't make too much money. But some make a lot of money. Usually they will advise you to file separately because at that point most of the credits will phase out and you wouldn't even get the credits anyways, right?
Mr.
That's when they advise you to file separately.
Mr. Obed, I'm going to answer or the follow-up question about was say where quote unquote so you chrome for a bionuma omunya benefit any other identity. That's the reason omoyesa. Is it advisable? Because the bionuma omoye together omunya sa benefits and also omunyan. That's why they do the separate.
Yeah, I mean, look, the whole thing is you listen to what your tax advisor will tell you, right? And in America, say filing status is very circumstantial. But the IRS try to, punish the people who file separately by not giving them some tax credits, right? But because of benefits of munyaninti, not a tax benefit, but other benefits of munyaninti, they want to file separately so that they can keep that benefit because if you're only looking to file, they won't qualify for some of the benefits. I understand that. But what I'm saying from a tax perspective, if you file separately, there are some tax creditor abine ma unya. Bibi to say earn income credit say if you file separately, you won't get it.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, okay.
And I say make it scabibria. Earn income tax credit is one of the tax credit that benefits the people who don't make a lot of money, especially when you have children. That is one of the tax credit that benefits a lot of the people who don't make a lot of money. And it's a tax advice. I know advice someone file it separately. Usually, they are making too much money, or our benefits be like meaning what kind of benefit? Our benefit be if they make too much income, it will disqualify them from getting the benefits. And usually that's why tax advisors advise people to file separately. But say na say Baku make a lot of money, not Baku make a lot of money. Usually it's advisable to file together. But I also understand where the person is coming from.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
that
they
this
also
question.
they also say something got to give. Open benefit to Hanma, but we did for tax purposes.
Yeah.
Okay. It's when you say what they all pay before you, but for tax reasons, So what I say, yeah.
Now, the question
something got to give. Wouldn't me, you can't have your cake and eat it.
yes.
Yeah, AJ Munana has to egu.
And senior me brother Kayano, thank you, brother Obed.
Dani, question I think that this question for you, Mami Faka no didn't one person will say two questions. Was say how do you find out say the first question, how do you find out say the oil taxes no or credible? Now the taxes are common. And two, how long and I say how many years and I'll bet me I go without filing tax since we will be able to with me could be a question be a year or two. Meaning when you have two questions now.
Thank you. And senior brother Obed Kayano for the first question. Oh yes, I think sir, and 1 hour cano, a bit more. I've seen people that they come, they are couples, but they also want to file separately because Baku or the cabe before more worry. Or handles the cabe like or the tax liability dosu. Nti ayɛ te sɛ adesua bi a ɔmo manage kakra nti sɛ ɔmo file saa tax na ɛbɛ sɛ bibi wɔ so ɔmo bɛnya a ɛbɛkɔ baako hɔ ɛna ebi mu so wɔ sɛ ɔmo nya saa sika all the issues surrounding it, that's why they file separately. Obi si wɔ hɔ a ɔwɔ scholarship bi a ɔnya income driven scholarship benefit nti saa scholarship ebi a benefit bi a ɔbɛnya no sɛ wo ɛni say na ɔtumi nya saa benefit no nti ɛnu saa no woyɛ no separately a na ayɛ te sɛ we can endorse into ubetimia I get some benefits. So those are some of the things, but there are a lot of nuances, like my brother explained. Now to the question as to whether how you find out whether your tax person is credible. One of the things usually you will be one for a start. So this will be catcher will say I'll maximize your when you come. I'll maximize your tax income, like over promising from the get-go. Obi oh, I will do this, no. From the get-go, who say Obi promise will be brain now promise.
Careful.
First of all, it's a red flag. Okay, and maybe be a year a buying. It is a Obi or catch or maximize may say first of all, you have to start thinking, say, it's nipper way credible. That's the first thing. The second thing is obi woha and your qualification. Okay, me a CPA, but I have seen CPAs who don't really file taxes and understand the tax codes very well. So it has nothing to do with qualifications, ni big titles. Obi woha or title no by a jumano or starting and chair and so I wouldn't say qualification, but most of the times the jumana no referrals. Okay, referrals here. One key thing I want to say is that nipa no more license to say be a road tax agent or say CPA. Now so you be wronger, wait to me assume it can affect the license. Into no, the license is on the line. Into my example, Obana me falima una me who say fa we count. Me ankasa na me pamon for. I have people I don't want to file your taxes. Until you will now determine my credibility. My license is at stake. I won't look at the small peanut ube mommy, or you pay my company to lose my entire life. Inti me no me wonkofo bi o ha me mfale tax. But let me have a discussion say. So and yeah, it's also based on sometimes the overpromising. I need clients, I need this. Now if you the shishemu and all that. And no sano, what happens since they say nipa file now kese now we and all of a sudden when you get the tax IRS tax letter now, nipa can quarry most of the times. Fache me pa now I done in a chiaba obi fufuo so when one falling it as ni ye one yen say body shemu no now enu dear now when near jipa or fali abinya bebre enti sa so I was said per obia how do you know so you're credible my own share was here bisa question who bisa no question I didn't we share I didn't know the way share we know I see a chair saying so to me break it down mau na say ebia untia say na say even as somebody I own your accountant and I be ultimately says, oh, when until no year say, wait till no year say, I believe say and no bema wa atia say. It's not about say you'll be kept in the dark. Okay, the other thing I want to make clear on this line is that the fact say me file little tax amount does not mean say issues be bad. Me na yebe holding me responsible. I will not be held responsible unless say my be a big negligence on my part. But we have rules that govern when you are a paid preparer. For instance, your baby will say, so Biba, now be a ufalita saman or see on my tight 200,000. Amount on my tight 10,000. Mena me falita saman, I don't have right. Say, bring evidence. Say, tight 10,000. Or I will ask you, they say, but all your sure says, say, the IRS or the two Ubenya Bibia support here na. That's all. And once I ask you that, nipa me was so documented. They are minu kaya. Mabisa oboko na ma documented. Assembly ba huwa, I can pull that documentation and say I asked. Ubisa nipa. Obi wo say, dia enya ni ba when your incomes be undisclosing in amount as the one filing their taxes. Ubisa say, have you sent everything undisclosing? Assembly huwa letter yem send letter no ma nipa no filing ma wono. Your best send them out. So I want it to be known to all of us on the line. They said, so be filing mawa. You are still the one responsible for what has been filed for on your behalf. It is bisa questions. It is your own tears here. Bisa nipa say, I don't know where you are. Now making sure say you are working with the person filing for you. If Nipano is too busy, and now if you you have every right to go somewhere else to seek the advice of somebody who can help you. I believe, say, I've been able to kind of explain this question, Kakra.
Yeah.
But
Why are they?
Nana, your questions, but the questions are many are crumbling. God, you just 2 minutes, but this question, I can person can answer. Or say, well, specifically every year, be your coach, me catch the tax and say this year, me pay 5,000. The following year, be your to me for 10,000. Nina, or your man up to now, unya problem here.
Okay, Kosuye.
Can I come in?
Kosuye, yeah.
But
Yeah.
catch it say.
How OT, to the one catch
Catch it, okay. But so o tax prepare and you na be catch and say opiska way. The woman I be catch and say opiska way, and he does everything to get you that money. I'm telling you that he's doing something wrong. IRS in order to I know just or returns near correct. IRS in order to I know just or returns near correct. Use sample method to sample out the returns and audits. But trust me, so omunya auditor bakwa, they can go back and audit you for multiple years. And omunya auditor bakwa so a tembia o returns be ko bi on be flag it. But okwa men can chow tax preparer so pesika say. Normally tax away to ya no. And also near share near the udibnya refund unless a wunya tax credits are qualify for. Usually nyoma a flag pa a tax credits na amount for a claim no. I know they a flag pa So when you're eligible for the credits, now claim one. IRS better watch your musica. In Timbacho, okay, tax preparer, I can't change open Sikasi. And in your taxes, you boost and questions. Say refund be na wunya, but and say I didn't na minya sa refund no church room. So ne be album say refund na wunya no a legitimate refund which is due you. Yes, how can I catch and say on pay 10,000 mawa. Or better coin you so up at 10,000 amount. But at the end of the day, you know, ube to your penalty account, I say to your interest account, see all the tour. Jimbacho try and let them do the right thing. Yes, how can I trouble more dia almost on the PCS amount. And whoever does that, you know, it's not credible.
Yo.
Wow, na just yeah, do ha. Na yeah, tossing next week na.
Wait there, Mimi saw you ha. Brother Obed, ne, Brother Danny. Next week, we available at Kibitimi to us. Danny James will catch us no what they might be.
But let make it time. I'll try and make it time.
Yo, Brother Obed, so
I can be available.
Yo, and next week, you answer questions more.
Ay, na next week na ke enye more cause text messages am nya wan ye more pa ye ntimi ankomu ayi kra ye time ne
no
so
credit
so
me
ma
starting time kakra bit me starting ya 6:15 and abisa sorry 6:45 and
yeah
abisa
okay
say okay
say okay
with
pa
it
enyo he wenye ne sa ay
eti yes remo tax no obana be catch say hey mama 15 na say the okay no obeji ama wo na wo ne be tro and the whole thing is yen tax na say if you say ya na amafo ntiase o fi say e dia wo say unye ska na say wo say oh enye sa na tie wo say tiase pa ntina e kind tax is very complicated it is here cp here accountants am wo so mo chechire mu no oh bitimi boss me dey e dan bi am si pa e dan am here 6,000 tie dan am 6,000 obe fine way ma 6,000 no but wo ne e betro e wo so tiase wo ne e betro yes sister wo tiase tua interest atua sa ne manina. It is our system now. The life near the aqua tax no so no. Or some me reduce you. Yeah, may fire life near tax no so sa. You know. Now it me yenia a be boy ama because sometimes a bar a few oda crowd na phone and we so now cool we so. So it next week a bit try say a bit me aye way. It really you be so ha next week near ya to be assuntino. Yes, I also am so PIA. To make sure say you guys save wisely, spend wisely, save intentionally, and be generous. Brother Danny, Brother Dan, and Brother Obed. Thank you so much.
yo
Thank you.
and I ebe do mo asenti ebe hu mo
Thank you.
next week nyamisha mo bebre
Namisha was super. Bye bye.
right Tanara mama 1 second pastor Vasisia